Morning kings and queens, Lynn's here with another art tutorial for you guys. Now, I can't teach you how to be all about that bass, no treble, but I can teach you how to draw Meghan Trainor, and that's what we're doing today. So I like to use Microsoft Paint because it's a free program. I always start with a 600 by 600 pixel canvas, and I use the calligraphy pen tool a lot. I'm also drawing on the XP Pen G640, which I got for pretty cheap online, links in the description. So first off, we're going to get started with the shape of the face, as always. We're going to, we got the sides of the cheeks here. We got the chin. It has like a little rounded shape to it, so just make sure you get that. I always like to have a reference photo next to all my drawings to make sure, I'm trying to get things somewhat accurate. Make sure the proportions are decent. All right, so we got, the chin, and we got the lines for the chin right here. And now we're starting up on the nose. Okay, so in my last video, I was telling you guys about how I injured my back and I had someone stalking me. If you guys wanted to hear more about that, go check out the Maria's art tutorial. But anyways, yeah, so I got some x-rays on my spine at the hospital, but didn't have any serious damage, so that was good. When I got home from the hospital, I tried to get some rest, and luckily, I didn't hear from that girl who'd been stalking me for a few days, for a while, so that was good, because I was starting to get real worried about my safety, Alright, so we got the nose drawn, we got the lines for the cheeks, and now we're getting started on the smile. So I got the shape of the mouth, and I'm adding in the top lip here. And we're getting the bottom lip drawn in here. You always want to give enough space to where, you can draw the teeth and everything. You want the opening of the mouth not being too big or too small. And feel free to use the undo button as much as you have to. As you can see, I'm pretty garbage, and, I never get the perfect brush stroke, but that's fine. So yeah, back to my story. So I was chilling at home, laying in bed, and suddenly I start hearing all this noise coming from outside. So I go out to investigate, see what's going on, and there's actually a moving van parked out in front of the apartment next door. And I'm like, oh cool, I'm getting some new neighbors, because the apartment next to me has been empty for like months now. And I mean, it's not like I'm going to go hang out with them or nothing. I mostly just be staying inside and minding my business. Unless you're like really cool, then we could be friends. Alright, so we're adding in the gums here for the teeth. And now we're starting to add each tooth. Sometimes I use like the pencil tool for this to try to make sure, the shape looks proper. The calligraphy pen tool is a little too wide. And I'm adding a little outline to the teeth to help them stand out. And now we're adding the tongue in here. And I'm just going to put, black for the other parts of the mouth in there. Sometimes you can color it, but I usually like to make it dark. And now we're starting to add in the eyes. Feel free to use the selection tool and copy and paste one eye over to make sure that they're perfectly symmetrical. No shame in that. And I'm using the selection tool to kind of move them to make sure that, they're in the right position. Oh yeah, so back to my story. I was watching these people move in. I was watching the movers get all the furniture in the house. And I'm like, I wonder who my new, next door neighbor is. And then I see the girl who's been stalking me all week. She walks out of the apartment, and I immediately shut my door and I lock it. And I'm like, yo, did she really have the audacity to move in next to me? Bro, I start freaking out because this is really next level crazy. Like, my family is going to get that call tomorrow that I've been chopped up into 100 pieces because this stalker really up to something. And I'm not about to stick around and see what it is. So we got the eyes drawn in here. And we get the eyelashes, and now I'm starting to draw in the eyebrows. I decided to just kind of click the eyebrows, make them look a little thinner. And I'm using the eraser tool to kind of, clean it up and make the shape a little better. There we go. I'm using the selection tool to kind of move them around. Make sure they're not too close to the middle of the face. Make sure they're not too far. And right now I'm readjusting the canvas to make sure I have enough room to draw her hair. I always like keeping my canvas as small as possible for my subject, but you also don't want it too small to where whenever you go to draw something like hair, that it gets caught outside the canvas and it cuts off your brush stroke. So here I'm trying to get like the perfect curve for the top of the hair. Might take you a few tries. And now I'm getting the roots of the hair here, adding in some lines. Now I'm adding in the lines where the hair parts. And you want to try to, make sure you do this right, because sometimes you can make their forehead look a little too big if you don't put the hair low enough. And now we're starting to add some other curls of the hair over here. And you can always use the erase tool. If you want to do like a curl of hair going over the hair you already drew, you can use the erase tool to give the illusion that it's going over it. Yeah, so back to what I was talking about. So at this point, man, I'm like, I can't stay here. I can't stay living here. So either I'm going to have to move to a different apartment or a different state and get away from whoever this lady that's stalking me is. But either way, I got to go. So I'm like, okay, until I figure out a plan, I'm just going to stay in a hotel for a couple days to distance myself and figure out what my next move is. So I packed some clothes, toothbrush, just some essentials to stay away from my house for a bit. All right, I'm adding in some more hair here. And adding in some extra lines to give some more detail. I'm trying to get like a bunch of hair to try to make it look like it does, like, because her hair looks really voluminous and she has a lot around the sides of her head. So you want to make sure you get all that. Yeah, so I ended up, getting a little backpack filled up, and I called and let my family know about the situation that I was in. I'm pretty sure I have a stalker, and that I wasn't going to be at my place for a few days. So I book a hotel on my phone, and I start heading out the door, but I was in such a rush, I forgot to tie my shoes. So I tripped on my shoelaces, and I fell down the stairs, in front of my front porch, and unfortunately, I hit my head on the sidewalk. So I had an ambulance pick me up and take me to the ER to make sure it was nothing serious. All right, so I'm adding in the last lines in the hair here, making sure, the top looks proper. All right, so just add in any last details you want to. I like to put the name below all my portraits, and I like to do my coloring in Microsoft Paint 3D if you have Windows 10, and boom, you got a masterpiece. So make sure to add in your watermark so no one tries to steal your art. If anyone pissed you off this week, tell me about it in the comments below. So long story short, I'm back in the hospital again. I'll update you guys in the next video. If you want to make my day a little better, feel free to hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and ring that bell. I make a new art tutorial every week. And if you need an art commission done or want to take my online course for how I do these portraits, links for that are below. Peace.